Welcome back, friends. Last guy here. Time for more Great Ace Attorney. Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And, Jinx just made me realize something. So remember Ray Membami? Her name is Ray Membami. I didn't catch that. Son of a bitch. Alright, so, it's been a couple days because of work, so, I'm picking who the culprit was. Was it him? You claim this person is the true culprit? Highly suspicious, I would say. Yes. Perhaps, my learned Nipponese friend, you should turn those wide eyes of suspicion on yourself. What? Oh, it seems to me that your reckless reasoning makes you far more than anyone else you could name. A very dangerous man indeed. Ah! Yes, that's the wrong choice. It's not a hurdle. Please, you must concentrate. I was trying to. Then you must concentrate harder. Harsh. Okay. The name of the person responsible for the poison that afflicted Mr. Shakespeare is, I believe, Miss Olive Green. Miss Olive Green? Miss Olive Green. Really? It's her? Huh. I thought she has to get into the story somehow, but like, why? I do feel as though I've heard that name in the recent past, Council, but I do not recall where. Miss Olive Green, the woman from 6 days ago. The victim in the recent case of stabbing on Briar Road. An incident for which Mr. Natsume was arrested, I hasten to add. Oh, of course, yes. Miss Green. She was left comatose for some 3 days, I believe, but I hear she regained consciousness 2 days ago. And I hardly need to remind the court that Mr. Shamspeare's poisoning took place 3 days ago. Given that the woman was lying comatose in a hospital bed at the time, she appears to have a rather fine alibi. True, on the night that the incident occurred, Miss Green was in hospital, unconscious. So on the face of it, it would seem that she couldn't possibly be responsible, but still. My colleagues and I visited Miss Green in hospital yesterday, and we found her to be in possession of a bottle of poison. Good gracious, she had poison? And there is another fact that links Miss Green to this case as well. The defense requests that she be brought to the witness stand in order to explain the details to the court. Tell me, Mr. Shamspeare. Huh? My lord, pray what be thy bidding? Are you acquainted with Miss Green? No, never heard of her. Judging by the look on Mr. Shamspeare's face, I think perhaps he genuinely doesn't know her. At least not by name. As the voice of Her Majesty's prosecution here, I adhere to my word. We will see my learned Nipponese friends fast through to its conclusion. I appreciate that. The prosecution requests a short recess, my lord, in order to subpoena the witness and bring her here. Yes, Miss Olive Green. Indeed, my lord. 1 hour should be sufficient. Very well, I grant the request. Excellent, I hope. Excellent, I hope. The defense has made a most extraordinary accusation, I must say. But at the present time, I feel the prosecution's argument remains largely uncontested. Accordingly, I'm afraid the defendant and his culpability remain the sole subject of this court's attention. Thank you, counsels. We reconvene in 1 hour. Court is adjourned. Alright, so I stopped right before a pause point? Alright. I thought it was a good point to stop. To be continued, though. Oh my god. Time for part 4. A New Hope. Alright. Alright, here we go. So why did Miss Green try to kill him? Because she thinks he's the one who tried to kill, or who did kill her man. 23rd of February, 11:32 a.m., the Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Joyful, jubilant, jumping jacks! Oh, Mr. Natsume. I'm so pleased for you. Locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire, and non-locum judicial assistant Miss Mikatoba Esquire. Now, finally, at long last, there can be proof. Proof that I'm innocent and proof that my tea is innocent. Ah, good morning, my dear fellows. Ah, Herlock Sholmes. May you drink my tepid tea and fall forever silent. I thought the tea was innocent. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you came. How wonderful. Please sip your derision. I know what you're all thinking. Good morning, he says, when it's very nearly time for luncheon. Your scorn is written clearly across your faces. Nobody said or thought anything of the sort. The truth is, I was determined that today would be the day. As sleep seduced me last night, I thought. Tomorrow, for once, I shall not suffer sleep. I'll rise early and be present in court to support my companions. Such spirited determination has a beauty of all of its own, does it not? Oh, yes. And then I began to muse on the subject. Why do people oversleep, I queried. Why, time after time, do they make the same foolish blunder? And the answer came to me at once. It's so delightfully simple. People oversleep because they sleep. Well, is that not an astute insight into the matter? Oh, yes. Upon which realization I attempted an experiment. I didn't sleep a wink all night. And the results? By first light, I was exhausted, and began to be assailed by fits of drowsiness. Shocking. And so the conclusion of last night's experiment is this. A good night's sleep is quite simply essential. Yes, I think most of us probably knew that already. What others presuppose I prove by experimentation. That, my dear fellow, is the scientific method. Ah, yes, and one more thing. You remember this? Ah! Yes, of course, it's the poison that Miss Green was about to drink at the hospital yesterday. Oh, you didn't manage to... It was a laborious task as the bottle was near empty. But such inconveniences do not hinder Sholmes. I managed to confirm that it contained strychnine. So I was right. By the way, strychnine is not a comfortable death. It is a very, very vomitous death, if it's the one I think it is. Oh no, that might be the arsenic death, actually. Perhaps, though of course such circumstantial evidence doesn't prove Miss Green's guilt. I shall leave the bottle in your care now. But licking the inside of the neck is not recommended. The bottle of poison has been entered into the court record. Ah, could I have a word? Who is it? Ah, it's Gregson. Ah, could I have a word? Gregson, how good of you to come. Forget it. Excuse me. Wait a minute, Inspector. No. I, don't wish to make a nuisance of myself. From the look on your face, I'd say it's someone else who you think is making a nuisance of himself. My dear Inspector, please speak freely. Pretend that I'm not here. Believe me, if I could do that, life would be a whole lot simpler for me. The other results, Inspector, of the investigation of Mr. Shanspere's room? Not yet. Shouldn't be long now, though. No, I'm here about something else. The dead convict, actually. Oh, you mean the man from this newspaper article we discovered yesterday in Mr. Shanspere's room? A man by the name of... Ah, yes. Selden. I went through the archives at the yard and dug out the fellow's file. There's something in there that... Well, it caught my eye. Something caught your eye? What, Inspector, what? I've copied out the relevant parts for you, so you can read it out for yourselves. Thank you! Capital offender's file has been entered in the court record. These documents include the details that were in the newspaper cutting we found in Mr. Shakespeare's room. I'll rearrange everything in the court record so we don't have duplicate information. Okay. Why are you giving us a copy of this important file, though? Well, you're the ones who turned up the clue in the first place, aren't you? I'm just making sure things get handled in the proper fashion. Oh, Scotland Yard's workings are so wonderful. Indeed, my dear fellows, and the inspector here is a shining diamond in its crown. A shining diamond in the rough, maybe. Look, I just don't want to be beholden to a lawyer, that's all. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court proceedings are about to resume. Make your way into the courtroom at once. Well, I shall leave you then. I'll be listening with interest from the public gallery. Not nodding off at all. Certainly not. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm rather tired of seeing Mr. Mustache in floods of tears, personally, so the best of luck to you. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! Yes, Mr. Natsume? It's time, isn't it? Yes, this it is. Yes, this is it. It's Olive Green and Mr. William Shakespeare. This is going to be the final battle. Okay. Alright, here we go. I won't really have saved Saseki-san until I've exposed the whole truth of everything that's been going on. But it's all coming to a head now. You can do it, Ryunosuke. You have to! Sasaki like, yeah, get her ass. Get her ass. 23rd of February, 12:30 p.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. How'd they get a hold of her? In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again now. How would she get the poison there? Before the recess, we heard a most startling accusation from the defense. Namely, that the victim of the case we heard here only a few days ago is the true perpetrator of this incident. A reckless, rash, and prejudiced charge of wrongdoing, in my opinion, my lord. However, the prosecution has tried to extend every courtesy to this amateur newcomer from dubious eastern shores. Thank you for that backhanded consideration. A rather cold assessment from the Honourable British Prosecutor, I must say. So, Lord Von Zeeks, his new witness present and ready to take the stand. Ready and waiting in the witnesses' antechamber, my lord. Very well. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in. She's painting, oh my god. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court, please. William Shakespeare, my liege. For mine occupation, I can only say that I be a tragic victim to be pitied. Currently unemployed is, in other words. I'm Olive Green. I'm a fledgling artist. Well, no. Not a fledgling, really. A hopeless failure who's too weak-spirited to admit she has no talent, I suppose. Also currently unemployed, in other words? What a coterie! What a coterie! Coterie. What a coterie! Mr. Shakespeare? My lord, I am thy humble servant. I'm afraid that you are no longer merely the victim in this affair. The possibility has been raised that you are in fact the assailant, intent on taking the life of your fellow lodger. The part you have played in this whole business will be thoroughly scrutinized, I assure you. I would for naught else, my lord. And Miss Green. Yes? You are aware of the reason you have been summoned to this courtroom today, I presume. Yes, the officer did explain. Arrow, he said I poisoned this ridiculous buffoon. And? Do you accept the charge, Miss Green? I don't know anything about any poisoning. And I don't know anything about this man. Come, lady. Die to live. Verily, I know not thy prickly, pea-pigmented personage. That was it.
Very well, let us proceed with the matter at hand. That being to ascertain whether or not Miss Green has any involvement in this affair.
It's all very strange indeed. Why would you suspect me? I barely ever go to the East End anyway. It so happens that I passed by that neighborhood 6 days ago, that's all. And on the night that this man was poisoned, I was still in hospital fighting for my life.
Yes, having been unfortunately caught up in the incident on the street outside the Garrideb household. An incident that rendered you unconscious for some 3 days.
I was struck in the middle of my back by a knife through no fault of my own, and now I am under suspicion. What other irrelevant things might I be suspected of? It's all very disturbing.
The energies may be better spent worrying about random knife attacks, I feel, Miss Green.
At this point in time, all that appears to connect you with Mr. Shakespeare's lodgings is the Briar Road incident of 6 days ago. That's why we would like you to testify formally now about exactly what happened. Oh no! The incident 6 days ago, you mean you want me to relive that awful accident? Unfortunately, yes. Please tell the court what happened that day. And of course, we will be interested to hear from you about your movements that day too, Mr. Shakespeare. But what happened 6 days ago has nothing to do with me being poisoned.
Let us proceed then. The witnesses will present their formal testimony to the court on the subject of the incident that took place on Briar Road, the evening of the 17th of February.
Witness testimony. This is going to be interesting. The evening of the 17th of February. She was looking around. But before that, let's look at the court record real quick. Take a look at the things we have. So, these two things. Examine. So this is the poison we've been hearing so much about? Strychnine? There are a few remnants on the bottom of the bottle here too, look. You must be tempted to try it. Of course not, as long as we don't lose this trial. No, even if we lose the trial. No, we mustn't lose the trial in the first place, Mr. Naruhodo. Make your mind up, Sasato-san. I think there's nothing else then, yeah. I don't think there's gonna be anything else besides that. I can just present it as evidence. Scotland Yard's file. Selden, 18 counts of burglary, 6 counts of suspected murder. Jesus. Died natural causes whilst in prison. His final moments witnessed only by his cellmate. The estimated 1,000 pounds worth of loot he stole remains unrecovered. Manchester Strangeways Prison announced the death of convicted murderer and burglar Selden by natural causes in the early hours of this morning. He had been suffering with fever since the end of October. Alerted by the shouts of his cellmate, medical staff arrived to find him already dead before his capital punishment could be carried out. Okay, that's all we know. It was 6 days ago at about 5 p.m. I was walking along in the snow when I was suddenly stabbed in the back. Coincidentally, it happened to me just outside the house where the men in this case have been lodging. I was at the tavern on the eve of which thou speakest. I had bespoke my supper. It was the first time I had been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to, that's all. Anyway, I was admitted straight to hospital, so I knew nothing about all this business. As to that matter of business, the question.
Yes, a second incident inside a week at what I believe to be aptly described as the haunted lodgings. One can only presume this is most unfortunate coincidence.
Meanwhile, you say you are not in your room, Mr. Shamsphere? 'Twas the following morn when I did awake that I learnt of the dire events. Mary, what a commotion did the officers of the law make on the floor above mine? When Saseki-san was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. As suspected, there's nothing connecting these two witnesses but happenstance. It's true, it doesn't seem as though they're related at first glance. But I'm not so sure. There's something lurking in the shadows here. I feel certain of it. And this is my one and only chance to expose it.
Counsel, you may now cross-examine these two witnesses if you wish.
Yes, my lord. There we go, cross-examination. The evening of 17th of February. Alright, let's get to pressing. Depressing. I'm well acquainted with the case. I'm sorry you had to go through that. It was awful. I still can't believe I was unconscious for so long. I woke up to find that case had been solved and the culprit arrested. Yes, the incident had been resolved already. Perhaps it would help you to consider it a bad dream that ended with your awakening. It should not be forgotten. Should now be forgotten. Yes, I suppose so. Thank you. But before you put it completely behind you, Miss Green, I need you to remember the details one last time. You must tell the court exactly what happened that day, for us to arrive at the truth about this new case. The trouble is, there's nothing to tell, really. I was just walking along the pavement. Rubbing a paintbrush on your face. Hold it! What were you doing there that day, though? What do you mean? The art school you attend? What's it called? Yes, it's the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts. According to Mr. Scholes, that's just in the vicinity of Brixton Road, which is some 10 stops away from the scene of the on the Underground. I believe you mentioned before that you also live on Brixton Road, isn't that right? So why then would you have been walking along Briar Road in the middle of the East End? Well, it's because, oh yes, of course. I thought I might make a nice picture. The witness is a student of art. City-dwelling artists can't all paint grand urban vistas. That's right. I happen to like the crumbling look of that part of town. Perhaps quaint would have been a less grating term? The point is, she's definitely hiding something. Yes, it seems she's not going to be forthcoming with the truth. If she's trying to hide why she was there that evening, it must mean there's a reason for her not wanting us to know. That's the key to this. And you, Mr. Shansphere, on the evening of the incident 6 days ago, would you tell the court what exactly you were doing? 'Twould be my pleasure, sire. Now this part. Hold it! A tavern, you say? Which one? It's gonna get her reaction out of her. 'Twas the Slug and Salad where I did tarry. 'Tis a jewel in the East End. Really figured she's gonna react to something here. And a little unexpected, I feel. What do you mean, Lord Von Zeeks? The Slug and Salad offers unusually fine dining, for the locality at least. Not an establishment you'd expect to be patronized by a man with not even a crumb of bread in his room. Oh! It's true, the menu lists premium crusts of bread and glasses of water, in different levels of cloudiness. I would have expected Grub's Grubbery in the local vicinity to be more appropriate for your means. Pottery soup and mushy peas, or rather, soupy water and pea-like mush. All equally appetizing. I just wanted to try some water in a different pub for once. What's wrong with that? How different can water really be? Or perhaps there's a more plausible explanation? A specific reason why he would had to go to that particular establishment? Agreed. fact that on that day of all days he dined at a place he normally wouldn't, it does stand out. So Mr. Shansbury's own actions on the day of the incident 6 days ago were slightly suspicious. I wonder if we have some evidence that can explain these actions. We do... 1 second. Do we have the letter? So we don't have the note. That's something we need. So let's just keep going for now, I think. Not at the moment. I wish we did, but sadly I can't think of anything at the moment. If we find a clue that could explain why Mr. Shansbury went there, we must present it to the court. Yes, absolutely. There's the letter, but we don't have the letter.
If that is all that matter, Counsel, I would ask Miss Green to reiterate her next statement.
The continuity of the presses is weird. What little matter, Miss Green? Please elaborate. It was nothing really. It's not worth mentioning. If you remember, you mentioned it to us yesterday at the hospital. Ah. It was related to the card you were holding. Miss Green! Huh? What was that? She clearly just hit something behind her back. From memory, I believe the card contained a note that read, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Well, what does that matter? This has nothing to do with Duncan. Oh! Alright, we'll get to that soon. Duncan Ross. Please, Miss Green, tell us more about the note. I'm sorry. There's really nothing I can tell you. But I can assure you it's unrelated to all this. Completely unrelated. The truth is, you went out that day because that's what the note told you to do, isn't it? The instructions were for you to come to Briar Road at 5 o'clock that afternoon. I didn't think I should go at first. But then... I thought it might be a good opportunity to see what the East End looks like.
Very well, if that's your final word on the matter, continue, please.
Whoa! We'll get him on that later. Whoop. Yes, you didn't regain consciousness until the day after the trial, did you? In the earlier hours? Exactly. So how could I have had anything to do with it? And yet you still haul me in here to court this day? Honestly. So at the time of the poisoning, the witness was unconscious in her hospital bed. Could there be a more airtight alibi, I ask you? And yet, in spite of that, you claim that I was the culprit? Well, But you certainly haven't produced any evidence to support your wild claim, have you? None at all. There you have it. The good lady has yet to see evidence, my learned Nipponese friend. I'm working on it.
Counsel, I will point out here that the jury's next decision will be final.
We're really up against the wall here. Now for this. Mr. Naruhodo, did you notice? One of the witnesses reacted rather strangely to something that was said before. Oh, you mean... That's right. When you see someone reacting in an odd way, it's time to pursue. I need to keep a closer eye on the people in the stand, even if they're not speaking at the time, it seems. They really throw it in your face, though, don't they? Here we go. What? Here we go, here we go. Here it comes. What?
Excuse me.
Mr. Shanspeare, do you have something to share with the court? To be or not to be, that is the question. Ah, pray forgive me, the great bard's word springeth from within me with no thought. Don't tell me it's because you're possessed by Shakespeare's spirit, right? Hearing Miss Green's words a moment ago seemed to make you think of something. Something of relevance, perhaps? Hey, well, nay, sire, 'twas nothing at all. Presumably you know the name, though, Mr. Duncan Ross, I mean? After all, you were both lodgers in the same house. I would if it was so, but sadly nay. Lodging be a lonely occupation, sire. My lodging fellows be rarely known to me. So you haven't heard of him, even though he passed away in the room just one floor above yours?
Miss Green.
Me, my lord? Have I done something wrong?
The card that was mentioned before, containing the note. Do you have it upon your person?
I do, yes, but I don't need it anymore. In fact, I should throw it away, really.
Before you dispose of it, the court will take it as evidence, please.
Miss Green's card has been added to the court record. Sweet. Of course, that's what links Mr. Shamsford and Miss Green. It's Duncan Ross!
Now continue with your testimony, please, Miss Green.
She just straight up takes the letter, alright. Read it first. The envelope has been ripped open rather carelessly, hasn't it? Miss Green strikes me as the type to open correspondence more neatly than that. What is it? The way the envelope is torn, I'm almost sure I've seen that exact same shape somewhere else. Oh, you don't mean... Were you thinking of this piece of evidence, Miss Naruto? Exactly, that's it! Try to match them up! Yeah, the green thing. Yeah, there it is. Oh my god. They go together perfectly. This torn off end of the envelope clearly belongs with this card. Yep, details. And that was found at the crime scene. Yup. Pittsburgh with the envelope in her possession. I guess I just give the note and see what happens? Go for it. Objection. Nope, that's not it. Curses. Oh, I don't do it there. I do it like this. That's what I did wrong. Where's that evidence? Mr. Shamsphere? Yes, sire? On the day in question, is it not the case you visited the Slug and Salad, a place you don't normally patronize? For a very particular reason? I don't know what you're talking about. Pray, if thou hast some purpose, speakest. Very well, I will present the court with evidence. Evidence that explains why you had to be at the Slug and Salad that day. Namely... Take that! I believe this card reveals the answer?
Good lord, Miss Green's card, you mean?
That's right, my lord. It reads... I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Mr. Shamsphere, your actions on the afternoon of Miss Green's stabbing are exactly as described in this note. Huh. Personally, I find it hard to believe that's a coincidence. Don't you, Mr. Shamsphere? Well... Excuse me, can I say something? Yes, Miss Green. That card was delivered to me. It doesn't have anything to do with this odd man, does it? Well, you'd think so, yes, but it's hard to believe. It's merely... My lord, may I?
May you what, Miss Green?
I'd like to make something very clear about that card.
Very well, then. You may amend your testimony to include details about the peculiar note.
This note was delivered to me at my address. It's nothing to do with the odd man next to me here. Now I gotta present the other thing. I found this somewhere else. Found it in his room. The day before the incident, exactly 1 week ago now, this note was delivered to your address. And upon carrying out the instructions in the note, found yourself in the hospital. In hospital. You found yourself in hospital. Yes, I did. It's terrible, everything that's happened to me. Yes, it is terrible. If it's all true, that is. What do you mean? Miss Green, have a look at this, please. It's a torn-off end of an envelope. Oh, is it? And it so happens that it fits together perfectly with the envelope of the note you received. Where did you find that? In Mr. Shanspeare's room. In my room? Mr. Shamspeare, do you perhaps remember this note from somewhere? Well... Your actions that afternoon will follow the instructions in the note to the letter. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. And so that's exactly where you went. Ugh. Let me ask you again, Mr. Shamsphere. You already knew about this note, didn't you? And you, Miss Green? What did I do? As this torn-off end of the envelope proves, the note was originally Mr. Shanspeare's room. And so it is that it came to be in your possession, yes? I don't have the first idea. I'm just a fledgling artist after all. There is only one explanation. You broke into Mr. Shanspeare's room and stole it. You did what? Sorry, thou hast what? You broke? I mean, thou were in my room? What on earth do you want with me?
It would seem that both witnesses need to testify again.
Miss Green? Yes? Whilst you have the court's sympathy, I'm sure for the suffering you have endured in recent events, anyone found to be giving false testimony in a court of law will be duly punished. Please bear that in mind. Yes, I know.
Very well then, witnesses. You will give formal testimony again now. On the subject of this curious anomaly regarding the note Miss Green claims to have received.
Very interesting. The anomaly of the note. And that ought to be next time. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, we gotta see what that's about. So, she broke in here, took the note for some reason, poisoned the thing and left, got stabbed on accident, and there you go. I don't know, she seems to have known the dude who died. So the note was originally in Shanspeare's place. Okay, it wasn't originally her note. Or, it's weird. It's weird. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I'm not sure. I don't have a theory here. It's just, she poisoned him for some reason. And we know it's going to have to do with Selden at some point, but what's Selden about? I figured it was Shanspeare was trying to kill whoever's in that room so he could investigate into that room to find Selden's treasure, because Selden, we do know, died and had not given up all his stuff when he died. So, but that right there is the game for now. I am not sure where to go from here. I had fun. Hope you have fun watching. That's what's all about it. Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.